my channel. I am Kayla.K.Keane if it is your first time watching, and with me today is Miss Shereen Forbes from the Kingston Logistics Center. Thank you so much for joining me, Miss Forbes.
Thanks for having us.
Alright, so recently I've showed you some container homes and you had quite a few questions. So that's why Miss Forbes is here. Miss Forbes, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Kingston Logistics Center?
Okay, I'm Shereen Forbes. I'm the Marketing and Business Development Manager at Kingston Logistics Center with responsibility for marketing and business development,
Yes.
to include the launch and expansion of our container modification unit, and in particular transitioning into residential retrofitting, which would be for container homes.
Fantastic. So previously you did business development
And marketing, yes.
but this is your first time moving into the residential type buildings?
Well, to be honest, we have always been doing well, I should say always, but at least for the last decade, we have been doing retrofitting and modification.
Right.
We work a lot on public sector buildings and our public sector developments. So to include police stations, we've done a lot of work for JDF, Ministry of Health, some hospitals, clinics, offices, and obviously also for the private sector we've done quite a bit of work doing retrofitting. Most of our jobs have been customizations though, so people would come in with their architectural drawings or even their sketches to say that this is what they would like their container office or units to be like,
Right.
and we would develop it for them. We also had a few customers who, and I guess these were the early movers who already saw the vision or was exposed from other societies to do their container homes. So we have done a few container homes. However, with this launch, what we are doing now is to, in effect, go in full force, 100%,
Right.
with launching container homes and just getting the Jamaican people access to container living.
Fantastic. So I have a second question for you because I literally pulled the question from the comment section of my YouTube channel and from TikTok, which in total we have about 2,000 questions. So what I did was to pick the questions that I saw recurring.
Yes.
So firstly, what persons are concerned about is the structural integrity of these units.
Right.
So can you tell us more about the lifespan of a container home?
Okay. Alright. First of all, the main material in a container home is a shipping container. A shipping container is made of curtain steel. It is built for rough conditions.
Okay.
It's steel, right? And it is built to travel around the world. So containers are placed on ships. They're exposed to rough sea conditions, hurricanes, storms, all of the things that you can imagine. And that is how it's built, to withstand all of that, because even there are hurricanes and storms, people still need access to their goods. So the first life of a container is to be able to safely transport goods from one part of the world to the other part of the world. Now, in upcycling or recycling shipping containers, it is the same material that was built for that lifespan.
Right.
Exactly. And now what we're doing is to give it a second life, right? Because even in terms of environmental concerns, the idea of these containers, when they're taken out of rotation, they just sit and they, used to do anything. That's an environmental hazard. So why not use it? Why not reuse it for something that is worthwhile and can make a good contribution to our lives in this lifespan and not harm our environment or the future of our children.
Okay, so if somebody uses it to build a home, how long can that house last?
At least 30 years.
Okay.
At minimum 30 years. Now with everything, maintenance is important. So, and as you can see with our units, It has, certainly on the exterior, we have a concrete board. On the inside it's drywall, it's painted, it's ceramic tiles, it's hardwood floors for the patio.
Right.
All of these inputs are the same inputs that you would use on a house.
Right, on a regular house.
So in the same way that for a house, if you don't paint it over time, it's going to just kind of look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. If you don't maintain it, then it's going to not stand up as much as it would if it was a well-maintained structure. But at minimum, you're talking about 30 years.
Okay, interesting. All right, so somebody had asked, or quite a few persons had asked about hurricanes. So I guess you answered that question
right.
In your explanation. But don't move as yet, guys. Remember to like the video, comment if you have more questions, and of course subscribe. We're going to move into the living room to further this conversation. Future millionaires, we have moved into the living room of the container home that is on display at the Kingston Logistics Center. But I know that traditionally container homes are stereotyped as being hot. So what has Kingston Logistics Center done about that?
Are you hot?
I'm not actually.
Well,
that was actually one of the first things that I said to her when I initially did the tour.
Yes, seeing is believing. I would tell persons, first of all, come and experience it for yourself.
Right.
In fact, there are lots of homes that I'm going to that are really hot, and this is nothing. For the design, first off, it's very airy. So we have the windows and doors, several outlets for ventilation, and beyond that, all our units are insulated. So every container home that Kingston Logistics Center designs has insulation in it with a heat retardant to ensure that you're not exposed to the extent of heat that someone might be exposed to if they had just the pure container without any kind of insulation.
I think that's what persons are thinking about, because steel traditionally going to attract heat, and really
you know what? And it's important that persons ventilate and aerate all of their concerns, and because this is a new product, so it is quite likely that people will have several questions that they want to clear up. So for sure, come to Kingston Logistics Center, experience it for yourself. Even before I started working at Kingston Logistics Center, I was thinking container home, maybe whatever. That is not going to be your concern at all.
As you mentioned, Kingston Logistics Center, what is the traditional business that KLC did? Because prior to this, quite a few of us have never heard about KLC. What do they do? What do you do here?
Well, Kingston Logistics Center is an all-inclusive logistic hub that offers products and services faster, easier, and smarter. Really, this would include stripping services. So when containers come to Jamaica, they come to our warehouse, and warehousing is our core business. And when they come to our warehouse, then we accommodate or we facilitate Jamaica Customs to do the scanning of the cargo, to do the checks of the cargo. Then we store the cargo for the clients. Persons who ship their barrels and so on, they come to our warehouse as well to collect their barrels and their personal effects. We do also maintenance for some shipping lines, store some of their containers. So some of our partners, we've already been storing their containers, and when they need it for export, we will clean, prepare the export, the containers for export. Container retrofitting, like I said, we've been doing that from forever. We also do container sales. So it is all things logistics. And of course, if you are anywhere in the world and you want to send something to Jamaica, we offer an all-inclusive logistic solution. So you can make contact with us. We will contact your shipper, coordinate with the shipper to have the goods shit, we cover the freight, get it here, we offer the custom brokerage, we offer the freight forwarding and everything to get it here, get it to your door if needs be. The all-inclusive solution for logistics.
For logistics,
yes.
Quite interesting. So we're talking about housing, but it seems that there are quite a few things that we might be able to come to you for actually.
Yes, and you will get them faster, easier, and smarter.
Alright, awesome. So as it relates to getting the house from Kingston, what do I need to have? Do I need to have land? What do I need to have?
The first thing is that you need to have land, whether it is own land or lease land on a long-term basis. But yes, you would need to have somewhere to put the home once you have acquired it. Excuse me. You would also need to have your foundation set up.
Okay.
So you, just like when you're preparing to build a house, you will have a foundation. You need to work out your sewage and all of that, plumbing and so on. You would need to have that sorted.
Okay.
So that when you come to drop the home,
right.
We have all the plumbing and wiring for your electricals and so on set up in the home, and it is also wired for AC. But when it goes to your property to connect to, right, at your property.
So the toilets and all of that are already installed?
It is already installed. So when you make a purchase, you would get it with your windows, doors, toilets, faucets, tiles, drywall, lighting fixtures, just like you would have a regular home, really.
Okay. That's actually pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
I know you're enjoying the conversation so far, and I'm trying my best to ask all your questions. We're going to move to the patio just so you can get a feel of this home, and then we'll be right back. Remember to like the video, comment, and definitely subscribe. Thanks for staying, Future Millionaires. So we're now on the patio chilling. And is there anything that you wanted to add to our conversation earlier?
Yes, because you said that viewers also had concerns about hurricane. So the structure itself we've already explained, but also in terms of how we ground it or affix it to the foundation now, that is another area that would ensure that the unit is not moving. Literally, you have two options. You can either do it on stilts, or you can do it down on the ground with concrete and so on, right?
Okay.
So once we ground it and you do all of this concrete work and so on to get it affixed onto the ground or onto the foundation, there's no moving it. It becomes just like a concrete structure. Right? There is no shift or no anything.
So it's not like the Westmoreland board houses that you can just take up and move in a day.
The container, they're heavy, they're steel.
Sturdy.
They're not turning over, they're not going anywhere. And it is not an empty container.
Right.
It has furniture and all of these things. Just think logically. And then even if you don't care to hear what we have to say, do your own research, because container housing might be relatively new to Jamaica.
Right.
However, it is
not
a
a new
vast
phenomenon.
business
Right.
worldwide. So just look, what is the rest of the world doing with container housing? And that will give you a good understanding as to what the possibilities are.
Okay, fabulous. So now that we have gotten all of that information out of the way, tell us about the price point. What is the cost for these houses?
Alright, so we have 6 different designs that we're launching, or upcycled container homes, and the 6 designs include 2 1-bedroom, 2 2-bedroom, and 2 3-bedroom options. Right? It ranges from 2.3 to 12.5 for the 3-bedroom, the 3-bedroom ultra, which is called the Twin Imperial.
Okay.
Excuse me. So for each option, there is a standard version, and then there's an ultra version, right? So the Mod-Donna that you're seeing here is the ultra version of the 2-bedroom. The other option for the 2-bedroom could be a 40-foot container with 2 bedrooms on either side in a studio design.
Okay.
In terms of the prices in between, I'll share that with you so you can have the subscribers
check my description box
right,
for that
and see all of the details of what all 6 designs are.
Fantastic. No, I'm sure somebody's watching, and quite a few persons have have said that they are very interested and they definitely want one.
Yes.
How do they go about getting it? And if they do get it, how long does it take to install the home?
All right. Our delivery time is 8 to 12 weeks. How you would go about it is to just contact us to make your deposit. Once you've made your 50% deposit to action the job,
Right.
then that's you've started, right? You made your selection and you say, all right, this is what you want to go ahead. You make your 50% deposit. We already have the architectural drawings and so on, so you don't need that. But you would have already, you would have had to have your land. So
Prepared
that's right
for the installation.
Exactly. Once you make your 50% deposit, when we are midway through the process, then you make another 25%, and at the end, just before delivery, you make the final 25% payment. We are here so you can come and you can check on the updates with your container home through the entire process. So it's wide open for you to see what is going on and and so on. So that is really how you would access it on our end. Now, with regards to financing, say through NHT or through the financial institutions, at our launch, what we did was to invite NHT. We invited financial institutions, we invited National Land Agency, and we have also shown them that this is what we are doing, this is what we are offering to the market, and we've asked them now to go back to their offices and see where they can help to make these products accessible to the market. So we are trying to create an ecosystem to support the access to container homes. So we would like for NHT now to say, all right, you can use your NHT points to access. This is what kind of
or
loan,
to fully fund the project. Because they're offering 7.5 million and you have units as low as 2.3.
And we have exactly.
And even the ultra unit, the 2-bedroom ultra unit, that is 8.5 million.
Right.
It's very close to their 7.5.
Exactly. So I mean, in most cases, when somebody's making a purchase for a home, they probably would have some cash already in it. So if you're getting that 7.5 and you have another million or so, then you're well on your way. But I cannot preempt any of these agencies because we're still in discussions with them. They now would have to make their announcement to say, all right, if it is NHT to say yes, you can access your container home through NHT or through this financial institution or so on. So the launch was the first step. The next step for us then is to have a fair, and so we want to have an open house fair in another month or so, and this will be to the general public. By that time, we expect that we would have completed the discussions with NHT, with the financial institutions and so on, and then to have them here in this space, even with the land agency, to say, all right, we are all here now, and these are our offerings to the market. This is how you can access a container home.
But all of this is so interesting, you know. You know what's particularly interesting? A regular home, if you're going to purchase on the open market or even from the NHT, the process, the legal process is about 3 months, 90 days to 120 days to access the property. So you're telling me that I could pay today and in just 2 months, less than the 90 days to purchase a traditional home, I could be living in a house that looks just like this.
Listen, now in times like these, you just want to be rich. Because if you have your cash in hand, then literally you come through the door today with your cash in hand and say, this is my 50% deposit.
But that's also very interesting because essentially what you're doing is offering a payment plan too. So you are literally making the process so much easier
and accessible to the public.
Fantastic.
Because our launch, the theme for our launch was unboxing dreams faster, easier, and smarter. And we really genuinely believe that we can help to unbox the dreams of our aspiring homeowners who want that home but have all of these other challenges in the mix. With your container home, you might be able to access that dream faster, easier, and smarter with KLC.
Fantastic. All right, so I know that some persons are interested and they want to look at the property for themselves. So share with them how they can actually look at the model unit.
All right. So the house is available for viewing Monday to Friday from I'd say from 9 to 3 p.m. And it is at 146 First Street, Newport West in Kingston. That is just off the port. If you need directions, you're on the toll heading to the Portmore toll. It's the last left turn, turning into the port is the last left before you go onto the toll. And then you make another left, and we are the last premises on the left. There's a sign on the outside, and once you're seeing the highway Marcus Garvey Drive, then you're in the right place. Outside of that, you can always hit Google Maps for KLC, and you'll find us.
Fantastic. So persons who need more information or want to contact you, how can they do that?
Well, they can contact us. I'm going to give you several numbers because we have several reps in the mix. Many people are trying to call. The switchboard is
overloaded.
Yeah, the switchboard is kind of inundated at the moment. The operator is just taking calls one after the other so I will give you some other numbers that you can access those cell numbers and so on,
and we'll put them on the screen,
right, so the team members can share and you can reach out to somebody for sure. Outside of that, you can also send an email. You can send an email directly to me. It is cforbes@klcjamaica.com, or you can do mbrown@klcjamaica.com, or you can do HARE@klcjamaica.com, or I don't know.
We'll put the others on the screen for you, so it's easier. You can just screenshot it and go ahead and call.
Right.
Thank you so much, Miss Forbes, for divesting all of your time and energy into teaching us everything we know now about the KLC.
You're sure you asked all the 2,000 questions?
There are so many, but the good thing is that they have your email address and your number now, so they'll be able to call you if there are any more questions. So thank you so much for your time.
I wanted
and
to
if there's anything else that you want to say, you can go ahead and do that now.
Yes, I wanted to say that for everybody, there's going to be a solution that's right for them. Now, we're not at all suggesting that container homes is the right solution for everybody in Jamaica, or even everybody that does not own a home. If this is not the solution for you, that's perfectly fine. Right? But for some people, this is exactly the solution that they've been waiting for.
Indeed.
And this is not something that is new to KLC. We have been doing this for over a decade. Beyond that, this is not just something in Jamaica, in the States, in Israel, in Ghana, in Nigeria, all over the world. Container housing is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Right.
So it is now your opportunity to look and to find out all that exists outside of just this small conversation, because I like when people have these conversations. They speak from an informed perspective, and even if somebody is convincing you one way or the other, you should also be able to speak to it, to say, this is what is happening in the world. This is a fact, this is foolishness. Right? And decide for yourself. Come and decide for yourself.
Indeed. Come and look at the home, trust me, because I was excited to find out more about it, but when I came and looked at it, my perspective was decided at that time. So I'm not going to tell you whether or not you should invest in this. However, it's something to look into. And remember, if you already have a house, it's something that you can purchase for rental, for Airbnb. There's so many opportunities in this. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And no need to go anywhere else yet, because there's another video on the screen just for you.